Okay, so I wanted to show you guys how I use the hinge method to put your stencils onto the board that you're going to paint. This shape of board is particularly helpful doing it this way, just so that you get it down all even and straight. I am starting out with the vinyl. I try to get it as close to the size of the board as possible. It makes it easier to make sure that it's all centered. And I know this video, I can't zoom out quite enough to show you the whole thing, but I've just kind of eyeballed it as far as the distance here, because it is just a little bit short on each side, but I have it cut to the exact size, well, I mean pretty close to the exact size of the board. And so I know that it's centered up and down and it will be level because it was cut out that way. So I just am picking kind of the center point between these two boards, and I'm gonna lay it there. This is exactly where I want it to be. And I take, I've got some of this thinner painter's tape, and I just go into the middle without moving it. And this is, since I've got it right on the edge, I've got to go around it, but I'm taping it down. This is where it's going to be, so it won't move, and I just go in the middle. Sometimes I'll put it across the top edge, but this is big enough. That's a lot of material to make sure I'm getting down straight. So when you have something that's this wide and narrow like this, it's better to do it in the middle, because the goal is to be putting down as little vinyl at one point as possible, so you're less likely to have it wrinkle and bubble and get thrown off. So for this weird shape, I'm doing it in the middle. And what I do, okay, I'm skipping a step. So I like to be able to pull on it to keep some tension on it as I'm pushing it down. And as I pull on this board, it starts moving, and I don't want it to do that. So I'm gonna take a big chunk of my bigger tape and I stick it on the end here, and I tape it down to the table so that it doesn't move, and then I'll flip it over and I'll do it again on the other side, which it's gonna come out of the shot just a little bit, but I'm just taping it over here to my table so that it's not perfect. If you pull on that, it's still gonna move, but it's not as, it's bad. It's holding it still a little bit better for me. And then I flip this over, and I'm going to remove the backing. And I already have transfer tape on this, which I've got another video showing you how I did that. But this, I'm just gonna pull the backing off. Make sure you don't lose any middles. Some small lettering is harder than others, and you really have to watch it, because like the little centers of the letters will pop out and stay on the backing, and you don't want to lose those. But I'm gonna cut this backing off, and I just have this like little thingy that actually came with my Cameo. And I just cut the paper off, throw it to the side, and then I grab my little, credit card equivalent that is apparently fancier. And while this tape is holding the board down, I get to pull on this to kind of keep it from touching the wood before I want it to. And I just work my way across. Now when you first start, make sure that you're actually like pushing really far down, like really hard down over where that backing is still sitting there. You don't want to have a bubble there in the middle once you get to the other side. So you want to make sure that you get that pushed down nice and tight over where the backing was, because we're leaving that backing there. We're gonna hinge over, and we'll do the other side once I get this one. But I focus in the middle of the letters, and then I push out, and I just work my way across to get it all down evenly without having any bubbles in the middle or messing any parts up. Like that. So that's down. I heard my tape over here trying to give. Maybe I should have put more down, but it held. We're good. So now I'm going to pull my tape off that's over here that you can't see, and try not to pull the backing off, transfer tape stuff off of my stencil. And I'm just going to move the tape over here now, because I'm going to do the opposite side. And in the middle, I'm gonna pull this tape off because we don't need it anymore. The vinyl is gonna hold the rest of the stencil in place. And I'm just gonna do the same thing, except for now it's already cut. So we pull this off. Sometimes I'll flip the whole board over because I'm right-handed and it can be a little bit awkward for me to press down as good as I want to. But we're gonna test my skills here. So we're doing the same thing. I'm just holding it up so that it's not touching down on the wood before I'm ready for it. And make sure we're tight where the seam was. And just work our way across. Start in the middle and push out. This works well when you have kind of an odd shaped board too, or planks, like the planked style. If you do it that way, make sure that you're going like parallel with the planks so that you could be pushing it into the cracks as you go. But there you have it. It's down, bubble free, and good. It's nice and straight. Then I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna press really hard before I take, this is just contact paper that I use as my transfer tape, but I push really hard before I pull any of that transfer tape off because you wanna make sure that it's adhered to the wood really well so you're less likely to get any bleeds. And if you do that after you pull the contact paper up, or the transfer tape, whatever you're using, and then you start scraping across it, I've caught letters before and messed them up. So it's much better to do as much of the pressing down as you can before you pull that transfer tape off, and just get it really good everywhere. Now, sometimes when you pull that transfer tape off, you'll see you've kind of lost some of your grip there, and you could press it again once you pull that off, but just be careful with the edges of those letters so you don't grab them. So I've got to push down good. I'm going to pull it off. Well, I'm going to pull the transfer tape, contact paper stuff off, not the stencil. Just get a corner. And so you got to watch here too. Make sure none of your little insides of letters and stuff get pulled up with the transfer tape. And you just slowly pull it. And there you go. Now, some people reuse this. I'm not going to. I just, it's not worth the trouble for me. Now, if you do pull that transfer tape off and you see that there were some letters that kind of got pulled up with the transfer tape, like I said, you could carefully push with this to try not to hit or catch any of the letters and mess them up. But sometimes if I've got a lot of little letters like this and I want to go over it again because I'm worried about it, I'll take some of that backing that I just pulled off and I'll put it down. It's kind of grippy on one side, so your little card's not going to rub across the grippy side that well. But I'll lay this down over the letters and do this to push it back down good without risking that I'm going to grab the edge of a letter. Now, I don't need to do that. I could see this is good. I mean, there's kind of like a spot here, but that's the edge. That doesn't matter. But you just want to make sure that it's all down really good, and then you can move on to the next step, which is actually painting, which I'm going to get my paint ready and do another little clip showing how I seal that down.